Today we are exposing 5 tequila brands that are flat out lying to you and revealing 5 that are actually the real deal. Number 1 might be the best $50 you spend all year. But first, you need to understand the scam that makes all of this possible. Mexican law allows producers to add caramel coloring, glycerin, oak extract, and sugar-based syrup to 100% agave tequila, up to 4% total, with absolutely zero disclosure on the label. The phrase 100% agave only refers to the fermentable sugars. It says nothing about what gets dumped in afterward. That means a factory can strip raw agave with hot water and acid using a machine called a diffuser in as little as 24 hours, add sweeteners and coloring to fake the appearance and taste of years of barrel aging, and sell the result as premium 100% agave tequila. Blind tasting panels scored diffuser-produced tequilas 59 out of 100 versus 85 for traditionally milled tequilas. An estimated 70 to 85% of tequilas on the market contain these undisclosed additives. And the one organization that tried to expose this, the Additive Free Alliance, founded by Grover and Scarlett Sanchagrin, had their home in Mexico raided by federal authorities in 2024. CRT representatives, the very regulators tasked with protecting tequila's integrity, were present at the raid. The couple fled to Kentucky for their safety. The CRT sued them in March 2025. That is the industry we are dealing with. Now let us talk about the brands profiting from it. Number 10. Clase Azul Reposado is what happens when a pottery studio conquers a liquor store. That hand-painted ceramic bottle, individually crafted by artisans in the small village of Santa Maria Canchesda using ancient Mazawa techniques, is genuinely beautiful. It takes hours to make. No two are identical. The company reportedly turned down $1 billion acquisition offer, and at $170, that bottle should be beautiful because you are paying for the ceramic far more than you are paying for the tequila inside it. Here is what Clase Azul hopes you never discover. A federal judge presiding over a trademark case in 2024 specifically noted in his ruling that Clase Azul uses artificial sweeteners, vanilla, and artificial coloring. The brand has never appeared on any additive-free verified list. Tequila Matchmaker reviews consistently describe it as super sweet, loads of vanilla, and more like amaretto or a cordial than quality tequila. The enthusiast community has a telling pattern. Reviewer after reviewer says the same thing. Thank you, Clase Azul, for getting me into sipping tequila, but once my palate developed, we could no longer hang together. Limited editions reach $30,000. The Ultra sells for nearly $2,000. For the price of one Clase Azul Reposado, you could buy 3 bottles of traditionally made, additive-free, single-estate tequila with actual agave character. The biggest scam in tequila is not bad liquid. It is convincing people that a ceramic vase is worth $170 premium. Number 9. Casamigos is the textbook example of buying a celebrity fantasy instead of tequila. George Clooney, Randa Gerber, and Mike Meldman founded the brand in 2013. 4 years later, Diageo bought it for $700 million up front, with another $300 million possible in earnouts. Clooney reportedly earned more from that single tequila sale than his entire film career of roughly $200 million. That tells you everything about where the real value lives in this bottle. Originally produced at NOM 1416, a contract distillery with a diffuser on site, production moved to NOM 1609 after the acquisition. Diageo has not allowed public tours of the new facility. In blind tastings conducted by Tequila Matchmaker, panelists overwhelmingly suspected additives, describing cotton candy, vanilla, and bubblegum with no detectable agave character. The tequila scored 80.9 out of 100, below traditionally made competitors. But here is where it gets serious. In May 2025, class action lawsuits allege that laboratory testing using nuclear magnetic resonance analysis showed Casamigos Blanco contains only roughly 33% agave-derived alcohol. If true, that would not even qualify as mixto tequila, which requires 51%. A broader California RICO lawsuit followed in July 2025. Diageo categorically denies all allegations, calling them meritless. The cases remain in active litigation, but the allegations alone raise a question worth asking. At $50 to $55 for a Blanco, what exactly are you paying for? Sales dropped 22% in Diageo's fiscal year ending June 2024. The market is starting to answer that question for itself. Number 8. Don Julio 1942 is the bottle that owns every VIP table in America. That tall, slender amber bottle has become the universal signal for celebration. Order it at a nightclub and you are instantly part of the scene. At $130 to $170, this añejo has built an empire on status. Don Julio is the second biggest selling tequila brand globally at 3.4 million cases in 2023. The company's own website describes its Blanco as tequila in its truest form. Those are their words. And now the same 2025 class action lawsuits targeting Casamigos have swept up Don Julio too. The allegations specifically claim that Don Julio Blanco contains roughly 42% agave-derived alcohol and that Don Julio 1942 Añejo contains roughly 33%. Diageo vigorously denies every allegation and points to CRT certification of all products. These remain unproven claims in active litigation. But consider the bigger picture. The regulator certifying these products is the same organization that allows undisclosed additives and is actively suing the people trying to create transparency. When the referee has a stake in the game, certification loses its meaning. If the most iconic premium tequila in America cannot answer basic questions about what is actually in the bottle without a team of lawyers, something is broken. And it is not the glassware. For $150, you deserve certainty, not questions. Number 7. Kendall Jenner named a Mexican spirit after a Los Angeles area code and expected the internet to celebrate. Instead, 818 Tequila launched in 2021 and immediately walked into a wall of backlash. Cultural appropriation criticism. A trademark lawsuit from Austin-based 512 Tequila. And the inconvenient truth that she simply tasted distillates at a contract facility until she found one she liked and put her name on it. Originally produced at NOM 1137, La Cofradia, one of Mexico's largest contract operations producing dozens of brands simultaneously, production later moved to NOM 1607. The product has never been verified additive-free. Expert tasting panels have been brutal. In one professional evaluation, 13 out of 15 trained tasters ranked it dead last. Notes included ultra vanilla bomb with lactic funk, cardboard, baby oil, cake batter, and artificial sweetener. One judge wrote not sure who the target customer is. In September 2025, another class action lawsuit alleged NMR testing showed 818's products are not 100% agave as labeled. 818 filed a motion to dismiss in January 2026. At $30 to $40 for a Blanco, you are not paying a terrible price, but you are paying for a product that professional tasters cannot find a kind word for, from a brand whose connection to Mexico begins and ends with a contract distillery address. The NOM number on the bottle tells you exactly who made it. Kendall Jenner did not. When the best thing about a tequila is the celebrity behind it, the tequila has already failed. Number 6. Cincoro is what happens when 5 NBA team owners decide basketball money and tequila expertise are the same thing. Michael Jordan of the Hornets, Jeannie Buss of the Lakers, Wes Edens of the Bucks, and White Grausbeck and Emilia Fazzolari of the Celtics partnered to build a brand that charges $90 for a Blanco. $90 for unaged tequila. Here is the detail that changes everything. Check the back label and you will find NOM 1438, which belongs to Destiladora del Valle de Tequila, also known as Casa Maestri. That single contract factory currently produces over 228 active brands, including Tesla Tequila, Kirkland Signature for Costco, and dozens of celebrity vanity projects. When one facility churns out that many labels, uniqueness is not a feature. It is a marketing fiction. One expert noted the flavor profile is remarkably similar to Tesla Tequila, produced on the same factory floor. You can verify this yourself at tequilamatchmaker.com. Enter NOM 1438 and watch the list of brands keep scrolling. And it gets worse. The extra anejo reaches $1,600. For contract-produced tequila from a facility shared with hundreds of other labels, that price is not a reflection of quality. It is a test of how much celebrity branding can extract from your wallet. Cincoro also faces its own class action adulteration lawsuit filed in October 2025. At every price point, this brand asks you to pay for basketball fame while delivering factory floor tequila with no meaningful identity of its own. Now here is where the list gets interesting. Because the 5 brands we are about to reveal do not just offer better value than the liars above them. They represent what tequila is actually supposed to taste like when it is made by families instead of corporations, with stone ovens instead of chemical diffusers, and with a commitment to transparency instead of a legal team. Most of them cost less than the celebrity brands we just exposed. Number 1 costs about the same as a Casamigos Blanco, but delivers something no amount of marketing budget can manufacture: actual craftsmanship. Number 5, Tapatio is the insider's tequila. The bottle bartenders pour for themselves after the shift ends. It looks like nothing special. No celebrity endorsement, no hand-painted ceramic, no gold lettering, just a simple label with a horseman sitting on a lower shelf while flashier names command the premium real estate. That simplicity is your advantage. Tapatio is produced at NOM 1139, La Altena Distillery in the Highlands of Jalisco, established in 1937 by Don Felipe Camarena. It uses the exact same stone ovens, the exact same 2-ton volcanic Tahona, and the exact same copper pot stills as the far more famous El Tesoro. Same distillery, same equipment, same master distiller, the legendary Carlos Camarena. Different label, dramatically different price. At $30 to $40 for the Blanco, Tapatio delivers what $90 celebrity bottles promise but fail to provide. It was the Camarena family's original brand, sold in Mexico since 1940. It only reached the American market around 2012 because the distillery could not produce enough to supply both countries. The reason El Tesoro even exists is because an American importer in the 1980s thought Tapatio's label was too rustic for US shelves and convinced the family to create a separate brand. Same tequila, different packaging, higher price. Confirmed additive-free. The Blanco 110 at 55% ABV, the legal maximum for tequila, is one of the most intense authentic experiences on the market at around $55. For honest tequila that does not need your attention to prove its worth, this is where smart money goes. Number 4. Siete Leguas carries a secret that changes how you think about one of the biggest names in tequila. From 1988 to 2002, this family distillery produced the original Patron, every single drop. When Patron's volume demands grew beyond what the family would accept without compromising quality, Siete Leguas refused to cut corners. So Patron built its own facility in the same town and moved all production. Most experts will tell you Siete Leguas has been the better tequila ever since. Founded in 1952 by Don Ignacio González Vargas and named after Pancho Villa's legendary horse, Siete Leguas runs 2 distilleries side by side. The original 1952 facility still uses brick ovens, a mule-drawn Tahona pulled by actual mules twice daily at 11 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon, wooden fermentation tanks with wild yeast, and 5 copper pot stills, including the original 1952, still held together with clips instead of bolts. The second facility, built in 1984, uses brick ovens and roller mills. The final tequila blends production from both distilleries, creating a uniquely complex profile that no single method could produce alone. The family grows 75 to 80% of their own agave, requiring minimum 7-year maturity before harvest. At $56 to $60 for the Blanco, Siete Leguas is verified free of additives, entirely family-owned by the González de Anda family, and a top seller in Mexico itself, not just an export curiosity. This is a distillery that walked away from a partnership with the most famous tequila brand in America because quality mattered more than money. When a family proves they will choose integrity over profit, you are not paying for marketing. You are paying for a promise they already kept. Number 3. El Tesoro de Don Felipe does something almost no other tequila in the world does. It is distilled to proof. After double distillation in copper pot stills, 0 water is added. The final alcohol percentage is determined entirely by the distillation process itself. That is not a gimmick. That is a master distiller so confident in his craft that he lets the still decide the final product. That distiller is Carlos Camarena, grandson of founder Don Felipe Camarena, who established La Altena Distillery in 1937 at over 7,000 feet elevation in the highlands of Jalisco. The production process has barely changed in nearly 90 years. Stone ovens cook agave for 48 hours. A volcanic tahona crushes every pina by weight alone. Open-air wooden fermentation tanks invite natural yeast from the highland air. 100% tahona milled, 100% copper pot distilled, 100% additive-free. The brand is owned by Suntory Global Spirits. But the detail that matters most is this. The distillery itself remains Camarena family property. Carlos controls every production decision. No corporate committee overrides his judgment. He was among the first to age tequila in cognac barrels over 2 decades ago with El Tesoro Paradiso and released an extra anejo before the CRT even created that official classification. At $45 to $50 for the Blanco, El Tesoro competes with tequilas costing twice as much and regularly wins. When a distillery has been perfecting the same method since 1937, you are not paying for trends. You are paying for mastery earned one tahona turn at a time. Number 2. Most tequila makers inherit a distillery. Felipe Camarena built one. G4 Tequila exists because a trained engineer and cousin of El Tesoro's Carlos decided tequila should be constructed, not just produced. Felipe, a mechanical engineer by education, built virtually his entire distillery with his own hands at NOM 1579. The centerpiece is what enthusiasts call the Felipestein, a 9.5-ton mechanical tahona constructed from a reclaimed steamroller and powered by a single 1-horsepower engine. It extracts 97% of sugars from agave fibers, approaching industrial efficiency while preserving artisanal character. The name G4 represents 4 generations of Camarena tequila mastery. Felipe designed custom dual-steam stone clay ovens that heat from both top and bottom for perfectly even cooking. He engineered a gravity flow system that minimizes pumps and reduces oxidation. He built a rainwater harvesting system that captures highland rain, blending it 50-50 with natural spring water to create a mineral profile no other distillery can replicate. Every pina has internal male parts removed by hand to eliminate bitterness. Cooked agave is recycled into fertilizer. Natural yeast, the same strain used by his father and grandfather, ferments for 5 days. Both distillations use full copper pot stills, independently verified with 0 additives. At $50 to $60 for the Blanco, this obsessive, hand-built, single-estate tequila competes with bottles at 3 times its price. Felipe puts it simply, I am not in the business of making fancy bottles. I am in the business of making great tequila. For serious drinkers, G4 is a masterclass in what happens when engineering precision meets generational craft. It proves that innovation and tradition are not enemies. They are partners. Number 1. Fortaleza is the bottle that rewrites everything you thought you knew about value in tequila. When Guillermo Erickson Souza returned to his family's ancestral distillery in the late 1990s, he found it had been converted into a museum. The ovens were cold. The stills were silent. The tahona sat motionless. His great-great-grandfather, Don Shinobio Sousa, the man known as the father of tequila who founded the Sousa brand in 1873 and became the first person to export tequila to the United States, would not have recognized what his legacy had become. So Guillermo rebuilt it. Piece by piece, he revived a 100-year-old brick oven, restored a 2-ton volcanic tahona that was originally pulled by mule and is now pulled by tractor, recommissioned small batch copper pot stills, and restarted open-air fermentation in pinewood tanks using nothing but wild yeast. Even the bottles are hand-blown Mexican glass, each one slightly imperfect in a way that mass production would never tolerate. Every single decision at Fortaleza is a deliberate rejection of the shortcuts that define modern industrial tequila production. Where the industry went faster, Guillermo went slower. Where others added chemicals, he added patience. The results speak for themselves. Fortaleza is ranked the #1 distillery on Tequila Matchmaker, verified free of any additives. It has earned a cult following so intense that when trucks carrying Fortaleza were hijacked en route to the United States, the loss represented roughly 5% of annual production because total output is only about 36,000 cases a year. Carlos Camarena, the master distiller of El Tesoro, says that when he cannot find his own tequila, he reaches for Fortaleza. Bartenders use it as an educational tool to show customers what tequila is actually supposed to taste like before additives and diffusers and marketing departments got involved. At $50 to $57 for the Blanco, you are getting a resurrection story in a bottle. A fifth-generation descendant of the father of tequila, using 19th century equipment at the original family distillery, producing one of the highest-rated spirits on earth with 0 additives, 0 shortcuts, and 0 pretense. If you ever find yourself reaching for a $90 bottle from a factory producing 200 other brands, or a $170 ceramic vase filled with sweetened mystery liquid, ask yourself one question: does it deliver more than Fortaleza? The answer is almost always no. Here is the single most powerful thing you can do the next time you walk into a liquor store. Flip the bottle over, find the NOM number. It is a 4-digit code printed on every tequila bottle by law. Enter it at tequilamatchmaker.com. You will see every brand produced at that distillery, what methods they use, and whether they have been verified additive-free. If that NOM number is shared with 200 other brands, you are buying marketing. If it belongs to a family distillery using brick ovens, a volcanic Tahona, and copper pot stills, you are buying real tequila. The brands lying to you spend millions making sure you never look at the back of the bottle. The brands making the real thing are confident enough to let the liquid speak for itself. The tequila industry is at a crossroads. On one side, billion-dollar corporations, celebrity endorsements, and undisclosed additives. On the other, multi-generational families, stone ovens, and copper stills doing the same thing they have done for a century. Your money decides which side wins. Skip the status symbols. Buy the bottle that delivers pure agave, honest craftsmanship, and genuine character in every pour. If this changed how you think about tequila, hit subscribe so you never overpay for a bottle again.